Welcome once again to the World Cafe. I'm David Dye, and we are upstairs at World Cafe Live for an artist whose span of her career, 22 years, is remarkably similar to the stretch of the World Cafe. She's released 14 albums in that time. Her last mainstream album, Abnormally Attracted to Sin, was in 2009, and since then there's been a classical exploration with Night of the Hunters and London theater piece that she has been involved with called Light Princess. She's recorded her songs with an orchestra and toured with orchestras, and she has released a seasonal album as well. And now comes Unrepentant Geraldines. She has said that her goal is to be the Helen Mirren of rock and roll. Please welcome Tori Amos.
Excuse me, but can I be you for a while? My dog won't bite if you sit real still. Got the Antichrist in the kitchen yelling at me again. Yeah, I can hear that. Been saved again by the garbage truck. Got something to say, you know, but nothing comes. Yes, I know what you think of me, you never shut up. Yeah, I can hear that. But what if I'm a mermaid in these jeans of his with her name still on it? Hey, but I don't care, 'cause sometimes I said, sometimes I hear my voice and it's been silent all these years. So you found a girl who thinks really deep thoughts. What's so amazing about really deep thoughts? Boy, you best pray that I bleed real soon. How's that thought for you? My scream got lost in a paper cup. You think there's a heaven where some screams have gone? I got $25 and a cracker. Do you think it's enough to get us there? 'Cause what if I'm a mermaid in these jeans of his with her name still on it? Hey, but I don't care, 'cause sometimes I said, sometimes I hear my voice and it's been here, silent all these years go by. Will I still be waiting to understand? Years go by if I'm stripped of my beauty and the clouds raining in my head. Years go by. Will I choke till finally there's nothing left? One more casualty, you know, we're too easy. Well, I love the way we communicate. Your eyes focus on my funny lip shape. Let's hear what you think of me now, but baby, don't look up. The sky is falling. Your mother shows up in a nasty dress. It's your turn now to stand where I stand. Everybody looking at you. Here, take hold of my hand. Yeah, I can hear them. But what if I'm a mermaid in these jeans of yours with her name still on it? Hey, but I don't care, 'cause sometimes I said, sometimes I hear my voice. I hear my voice. I hear my voice, and it's been
Tori Amos is our guest today, and she is in the midst of an 80-day worldwide tour, playing at least somewhat as she is here today, a solo tour. And what a challenge that is. Why did you set yourself out to do that? Because you did the orchestra tour, and you've got your band. What was specifically about this that you wanted to go out solo?
Well, I was turning 50, and Tash, who is my daughter, said to me, you know, you need to go rock. You need to go prove to yourself that you can do it. Because she knows that when you play alone, it's the most demanding. When you have, every configuration has different challenges. When you're with an orchestra, you cannot improvise. So if you want to take a breath, you cannot, because they don't jam. They don't do that. So you have to stick exactly to it. You have to build your breaths in to the score, which I learned the hard way after having a bit of a disaster with an incredible orchestra, the Dutch orchestra. But I worked with them again and built the breaths in. So there are challenges with other configurations. However, when you're on your own, there's nobody else that can fill in for you. So you have to be really conditioned, and you have to have a lot of power and breath control. And Tash said to me, you know what, Mom, you're not 84. You're not grandma. So go out there and prove to yourself you can do it. So that was where it came from.
I love the fact that you began with a song that goes all the way back to Little Earthquakes. And here you are at 50, looking back at the person who made that album, looking back at the person who wrote Silent all these years. Would you have any advice? And that sort of dovetails in what kind of advice you would give to your daughter, too, I guess.
Well, I would say be smart, not right. Sometimes you don't have to be right always in an argument. You have to be smart, especially in the music business, because being right doesn't always get you anywhere. You have to know what you want to achieve, and then you have to figure out, how can I keep my integrity and achieve this? And sometimes when you're in your 20s and you're bloody-minded, you can't think, I'm going to bring a little humor to this argument and not let them think we're having an argument. So if they don't think we're having an argument, and just get them to come up with the idea that I want us to do. I should have done that many times. But instead, sometimes, you're a vigilante, and even though you're in the right, you feel like, okay, I have to prove this point and bring them to Jesus. So, but sometimes that wasn't what I should have done.
After the last, everybody's calling it a mainstream album, but we'll call it a pop album or whatever it was. I'm curious what your thought process was, because making pop records can be really restrictive in form and in subject matter and in anything. I mean, you do really well at pushing on any of those boundaries. But was it good for you to take a break from that, and how was it to come back?
It's the best thing I ever did, because the contemporary world, you'd be surprised because you think it's very liberal, but it's quite strict, the structures. And it's usually not very, it's not a form that's conducive to heavy experimentation as they were doing, say, in the late 60s and early 70s. The industry really supported that. When you think about Led Zeppelin and the Beatles and even Elton John, some of those early works that he was coming out with, the form is much more involved. Someone Saved My Life Tonight and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and Queen, what they were doing. So it was a different time of, when you look at the structure, exploration. So Deutsche Grammophon, when they came to me and said, we really don't want to put any rules here. The only rules would be variations on master works. And I kind of realized that could be music suicide. When you mess with the masters, it's very dangerous. So I took it very seriously. And I threw myself into that world, but I had amazing collaborators. Always when I do something, I have great collaborators. So even though you just see me on the tour, I have a very strong crew. They're part of my family. And when I'm in the studio, Mark is right there with me. My name says producer, but that's because he won't let me put his name on. He never would. But he's there, and Marcel's there. And then, of course, Tash is popping in and out of the studio, giving me her 2 cents. So it's important because you need collaborations, and that's what happened with Deutsche Grammophon.
Unrepentant Geraldines. I know it's from a painting, the title, but tell me about the unrepentant part of it.
Well, I mean, you know, it came originally from a painting, but really, I think what happens is at 50, you have to you have to say, okay, this is what I believe in. This is what I believe. I know what I believe today. I know what I want to create, and I know where I stand today. But that might change next week. And that's got to be okay. I don't want to have to be right. We're back to being open to change. And so I started thinking about being unrepentant about changing. When people say you're too old to change, you think, no, that's not right. That's not logical. I don't agree with that. And I'm unrepentant about it. Because you can change your idea. Kids come up to me all the time. Kids, teenagers, they come up and tell me things, and I think, oh my goodness gracious, I never thought of that before. I didn't see it that way last week. You've changed my mind. And so not having to be the grown-up and be right, and the ego, you think, oh, well, forget about it. It doesn't matter. I'm strong enough in myself to be able to say, I was wrong, and thank you for changing my mind and opening me up. And that's where it comes from.
The ever-evolving Tori Amos is our guest on the cafe today, and you want to do one of the new songs?
Yeah, this is a song off the new album. It's called Wild Way.
I hate you.
Wild Way, one of the new ones from Tori Amos's new Unrepentant Geraldines, and I Hate You. There's not a first person in that. Who is that actually addressed to or metaphorically addressed to?
Oh, no, that's not metaphorical. He knows it, too. He knows it. I walked in after he was on the other side. I walked in, and he had a tear in his eye. And he goes, I hate you too, wife.
The flip side of love, no doubt. The themes of this record, there's songs certainly that address aging. There's some songs that address family. Do the themes in an album for you in any way precede the writing of the songs, or is it all what you notice afterwards?
It's all happening in front of you. And sometimes you only get 16 bars of a song, so you almost have to go experience these things. It swaps. You get 16 bars or whatever that is, and then you realize you're living it. Then you're living it for the next few months. Wild Way, you're in it. So sometimes there are events that are happening that inspire it, or the song is something else, and then a whole other idea takes over. So you use it as seeds to make something else. Oysters was very much like that. That took a few years to discover that song. And from Ireland, traveling around the world. And the song keeps saying, working my way back. I'm working my way back to me again. And I swear, that song made me work my way back to her all around the world, many times, to find it.
Tori Amos, our guest today. Her new album is called Unrepentant Geraldines. We'll hear more of her solo performance, including Oyster, in just a moment from the World Cafe. Back to our conversation and performance with Tori Amos in front of an audience on stage at World Cafe Live in Philadelphia. We're hearing songs from her new album, Unrepentant Geraldines, including this one called Oysters.
So can these shoes take me to who I was before? I was stabbing my sticks into a vulnerable earth. And I can almost outrun you and those stoking memories. Did I somehow become you without realizing? Found a little patch of heaven now. So then I'm gonna turn oysters in the sand. 'Cause I'm working my way back. I'm working my way back to me again. Not every girl is a pearl with these ruby slippers, with these ruby slippers. So then I'm gonna turn oysters in the sand, in the sand. And there are forces of conflict taking portions of my mind, in whose realm laced with trickery the fragments I must find. And I can almost outrun you and those stalking memories. Did I sand, in the sand. Tune, tune,
Oysters, another one of the new one from Tori Amos, who is our guest on the cafe today. And so you said that took years?
Took years because I was sitting around a fire in Ireland at the Ballywilliam, which we've had that since 1995 when we were making Boys for Pele. And so this was several years ago. And this was a friend of mine that was at the fire, and we always build fires outside and look at the moon and having some mulled wine. And she was talking to me about coming to Central America. She was going to leave. She was from England, around there. She'd been in Ireland, been back to the continent, and then to England. She said, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I'm just at a place in my life I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know. I'm going to go turn oysters in the sea. And I went, oh, my God. Then you see yourself running from the fire, thinking, where I'm going to write this in the dirt. But it stayed with just that little phrase. And you don't know, see, when somebody's going to say something to you, and it's not a song yet. You just kind of put it in your pocket right here, and you take it with you. And that's how people are always weaving with you. So somebody might be talking to me about oysters. I've tried to explain this to people, and I don't do a very good job, but they're telling me about something, how that song affects them. And what they're saying, then a whole nother song is weaving. And that's how spider operates. So in Native American culture, we see it as spiders, grandmother spiders, the master weaver. And you think, that's why we have this rule, all the spiders get saved. And it was my husband who, when I first met him, he said, do you kill spiders? I said, what a thing to ask. I don't know. Maybe. He said, no, I can't marry you then. I said, oh, my goodness. And little do you realize that you're pulling people into your life that value a similar Native American medicine, because it's medicine, different kind of medicine. It's not Western medicine, but it's medicine. And so Grandmother Spider has been teaching me a long time that you never devalue what somebody's telling you, because you just don't know. They're the messenger in the moment. That's your Buddha that you're talking to. You have no idea the gold that you're being given. And if you trust the muses, which I do more than anything else in this universe, I trust the muses, then you listen. And you're back to asking me about unrepentant. You realize, there is a real gift in listening. You receive so much by listening, and that's how Spider collects her stories.
All the spiders in the World Cafe are now safe forever. Well done.
They're safe today, anyway.
Yeah, at least, yes. I'm watching you perform, and I'm watching the audience here, and you have such a connection, and I think part of it is your passion is part of what makes that connection. And I know your fans are passionate. Tell me a little bit about that artist-fan relationship for you.
Well, I don't see them as that word, because that word, they're cute with it. They might use the word, but I see it as a collaboration. They're collaborators. And you know how people are supporters of the arts. I see everybody that comes as a supporter of the arts. That's no different than how when people go to the museum. And I just see it as a collaboration, because you'd be maybe you wouldn't be surprised how many people influence the work. They don't even know it. Maybe some of them do, but you're collecting things while you're out. And then you need to go experience them yourself, maybe in a different way. But that's the relationship. So I think they know that they're in the songs,
Well, you're playing here this evening at the place where the Philadelphia Orchestra plays,
Yay.
and I know you've done a lot of collaborations with orchestras. And I was just thinking of you as sort of the prodigy at the Peabody Institute in Baltimore, and how you left that. Are these worlds pretty much coming together for you now?
Well, there's a discipline that the conservatory teaches you. There's nothing, I can't lie about that. I was there at a time, I laugh about it with the deans now who are there, and they're supplying artists that'll be playing the Rain Benefit very soon. So I have a great connection with the Peabody Conservatory now. But you have to understand, in the late 60s, early 70s, they agree they've had to rethink. They've had to open up their minds. No different than if you imagine Carl Sagan, I was reading something the other day, hadn't been accepted into that scientific whatever, hoo-ha, brouhaha, the club it was. And I remember saying to this professor, I said, I want to analyze Beatles compositions. That's what I want to learn. And this professor said to me, oh, they're not going to be around in 30 years. So anyway, I did the right thing by leaving at the time. But they've changed now. They've had to change. And as we all can.
All right, I have one more question, and it's about your glasses. If you go on your Instagram, you have made a total meme of your glasses, and I'd love you to did it just happen, or tell me, because you've got a set of very distinctive glasses.
Well, this is the thing. When you have to have glasses to read your lyrics, my sister's a doctor, and she was trying to talk me into contacts. She goes, I can't do an impression of her, Tash can, but she was saying to me, you really need to get contacts, and I said, I can't fiddle with all that. I'm too old to fiddle. It's too late for me. So I have to see it. And she goes, well, that's not going to be a very good luck. And so I thought, well, I'm going to work this. So it was just a concerted effort to realize that it has to match up, because you are performing, so people need to be able to, it's a visual and sonic experience, so we just put a little effort into it and had good fun.
Definitely. Well, you want to do another one from Unrepentant?
Yeah, this is a song called Selkie, and she's inspired by the old mythology of the Selkies that came from Scotland and Ireland and that part of the world.
Silky unzips her skin, finally determined. Through a window in the dark, there he sits, all alone. I've been waiting on the love of my life to find. He's been waiting on his Selkie to come back. He said, I know these shoes are not like yours, but will you make Yahoo in my arms? Silky battle tide and wave, just to gaze upon his face, hiding behind rocks to learn if he found a new love. Here's the song full of us who were torn apart, then left broken hearted. Lorelei, here's the cry of lovers that the sea of fate has separated. Silky puts her hand in his. He knows the gift she gives. There inside his cabinet, folded safe, her seal skin. I've been waiting now, the love of my life to find. He's been waiting now, he shall keep to come back, he said. I know these shores are not like yours, but here you make you have in my arms, in my arms.
Tori Amos, our guest on the World Cafe today.
Thank you.
And again, big thanks to Tori Amos for being our guest today. We're going to put that session up at our website at worldcafe.npr.org. And check our Tumblr, worldcafe.tumblr.com, for a free download of one of the songs from today's session.